doesn't relate to psychology.
And I have another question.
Yeah, sure.
Wasn't it Plato's grandfather or uncle or something? He's a man of society. Was it his grandfather? No? Uncle?
I think he was from rich family, but...
Was it specifically his uncle or his grandfather was... I don't know, some diplomat or something like that.
No, but he was from noble society.
Right.
From Finland, he was from noble society.
I just wonder if he talked about talking with anyone in his family, developing these ideas.
Not like Socrates, would get crazy about it. No, but but I know that he was from noble families. But he opened the first high educational institution in European history academy.
Because I thought it was his grandfather that went to Egypt and talked to some people in Egypt and then came back and talked to Plato, and that's where Plato got the idea of when he wrote about Atlantis.
Yeah, maybe. Plato also has many periods of he changed his mind, like Socratic period, the immature period, many of them. Yes.
I want to go on with this in English, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
Just a bit deeper. I'm just curious about that. What do you think? How much of his philosophy went into modern science? Because, in modern science, there always seems to be this perception that we need to prove something, and we have to see it, understand it, and know it. It's real, but we can't assume things, and because they just become worthless because we don't know them. So I just wonder, how much of his theories went into modern science. Do you think there's a connection between these two things, or has it been neglected completely in modern times? That modern science and what he was talking about were just two completely different things. Do you think there's a connection between modern science and that?
Well, if you think the modern science has a basis of that times mathematics from that period, because in that period mathematics and philosophy was kind of the same. It was very close. So that's why how to say it in English? Pythagoras?
Oh, Pythagoras?
Pythagoras. He was a philosopher, or he was a mathematician. He was both. So, Plato and Aristotle, they talk a lot about mathematics. But then it was split. Then the two sciences went their own way. But in that time, so if you consider Plato like a mathematician, he has some theories about geometry, for sure he influenced the modern science.
Yeah, because aren't there things called the Platonic solids?
Yeah, that time. I'm not so familiar with that part of it.
So three-dimensional objects made out of a triangle, three-dimensional object made out of a square, out of a pentagram.
Yeah, just like I mentioned, even numbers and odd numbers example. In the irrational numbers, he said cubic numbers are not irrational. The numbers are either odd or even. It's a mathematics. Right? Then nobody talked about mathematics from modern philosophy societies. Frege was mathematician, a very famous philosopher from 19th century. And then he started logic. Logic is very close to mathematics.
So when Plato talks about knowledge, which is true, there's a justified belief with an account. So does he talk about the knowledge of, if we are taking the line, it's there, it's still on the screen. Does he talking about knowledge on the downside or the upper side of the line?
Well, That's okay. If you see the side, the downside is not knowledge, opinion. Doxa, episteme, like doxa and episteme. Episteme, knowledge in ancient Greek, it's just up. So of course we are talking about that.
So does it mean that he would be actually against scientific knowledge? Because, like for example, if I say water is consistent of H2O, this is a kind of knowledge, right?
Yeah.
And this is in the sensible world.
Well, it's not
In the down.
No, I think it's a
Or it's not
mass part. I think it's mass part. Actually, the three, like the cave, the cave thing that is connected with this structure, but Theatetos thing is not connected. Theatetos was after Republic. In Republic, we can say, but can talk about cave and about the structure, but Theatetos was afterwards, and it was not connected. But you see, H2O is at which level it is? Maybe it is third level, I think.
Sounds like doxa.
It sounds like doxa? Really?
Public opinion, right? Public opinion? That was doxa?
Yeah, no, it's opinion. Opinion.
Because H2O starts like a public opinion, but now we know that it's not really H2O, because just what we think is H2O, it's not really two little hydrogen and one circle of oxygen bubbling there. They're not like that. They don't look like that. In fact, there are some submolecular things in a different pattern that vibrate, and right now we just conveniently call it H2O, but actually it's not that. It's something else. It's something, but so I mean, water, we cannot really nail what water is by just or any.
Yeah. So my question was, can we have knowledge of this sensible world as using Plato's definition? And if we say water is not H2O, that's true.
Well, that's not truth. If it's not truth, it's not knowledge.
So it's not. So actually,
it's not
we can take everything, like the chairs, the table, and everything, and maybe we can deconstruct them all, and then we prove that Plato was right, that we don't have real knowledge of the sensible world.
Yeah, that's why doxa is public, because it's only consensual.
Yeah.
It only works in what publicly people agreed on, and then we work with it because it's convenient.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean it's an absolute.
So maybe this also answers his influence on other sides.
Yeah. It's the same one.
Well, I think the third level of mathematics is very important because of the connection of the first principle and doxa. So if we find a rule for example, each atom of water consists of H2O. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm not a scientist, but if it's true, so this I think it's true for each atom of water. So that's what Plato meant.
It's a law.
It's a law for everything. Right. Like I thought about triangle thing. Yes, triangle. If a mathematician is drawing triangle on the board, and he says that's the rule for triangle, but he doesn't say that it's a rule for this particular triangle. He doesn't interest in this triangle. He was a razor board in one meeting. He said there's a rule for all triangles. Yes, so that's it. But it's hypothesis still. When we use dialectic, destroy this hypothesis, then we go to the highest.
But can dialectic come up with something solid?
Plato said yes.
What is that?
Well, we can. He said he believed that dialectic is a way to determine the truth because it's many opinion and then we just can elaborate the truth.
But even then, even then it's doxa. Even then, many of
No, it's episteme after this. Episteme. knowledge, like.
But if we come to that, that's going to be, I mean, that is going to be, how to say, what is the English word? That is going to be 对论。
被推翻。
对翻。
被推翻。
一段时间以后，所以也不是绝对。
Refused.
Right? So in that case, it's just a doxa. It's just consensual people agree. So.
Consensual.
Postmodern is garbage class, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Plato is one of the most contradictions.
Many contradictions in
himself recognized, and Aristotle.
Well, for example, like a Copplestone, like the very famous, like the guy who studied Plato, he said there's just two examples of what is the highest level, and the one I talked this odd and even number, and the other I didn't really forgot. But just two examples in all his works for what is the first principle. So he was very contradiction. He was.
Okay, I think we have to.
Yeah, we're out of time. We got to move upstairs. Thank you very much, Roman.